You're listening to the Light Over Time podcast with David Sargent and Korey Bartos. It is January 31st, 2026. It's one very cold month into the new year. Lots of things have happened. We have a lot to talk about, I'm sure. I've been kind of completely MIA off of the internet for the last 2 weeks. I was in Vegas, working very long days and passing out as early as I possibly could. We'll probably get into a little bit of that, but for starters, because it is a morning episode, what are you drinking, David?
Ooh, so I've got some of our Dead River blend made into a latte with a simple syrup that we made ourselves with, we put apple chunks, orange chunks, cinnamon, cardamom, nutmeg, and a bunch of stuff to just make it this, I guess, fall spiced syrup, but it's just doing the trick today.
Yeah, nice. I've been playing around with making cardamom simple syrup with just ground cardamom and sugar and water, and it kind of slams. It's super easy to do. It lasts for a week and a half or something in the fridge, and it's delicious. Just rocking a Strange Matter today, though I did only have 14 grams of coffee, so I put 5 beans of Gesha in there, which was kind of insane, but spice it up a little bit. Just my typical flat white, though I am getting good at latte art, which is pretty fire.
Nice.
I can pretty much do leaves and garlic and hearts at will now, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, so we can kind of start wherever you'd like. I know you have a couple things to talk about. We have some photos of yours to share. I can briefly go over why I don't have any photos from Vegas other than work photos. And then we have a couple of other neat things to talk about as well. Where would you like to start?
I've got a place to start.
Perfect.
Do you remember last year's January where you asked us what we were hoping to do throughout the year, what our goals were through the year? Do you remember my answer?
I don't.
It was to buy a new car, and I'm doing that on Monday.
Very sick. What are you getting?
Yeah, so I put a deposit down on a 2019 Ford Escape.
Sick.
With 69,000 miles on it. Lots and lots of life left on it. I test drove it. Drives just fine. Lots of space. Seats go down so I can do some summer car camping or even winter car camping. I've done that too. But I'm excited. It's been a long time coming, and this 2007 Ford Fusion is ready to take a rest.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially being up there, you pushed that thing to the limits on some of your adventures, for sure.
Yeah, dude, it's falling apart. It's making noises. It's telling me it wants to be done.
Yeah, that's fair. That's awesome, man. Congrats. Yeah. It's always a huge thing. We're pretty close. I think that'll be big goals for Elle and I by the end of the year, is to get at least one compact SUV style vehicle, and then I don't know, maybe we'll keep the Honda and my Riata around a little bit and just figure out what we can do with them. But
yeah, I was looking all around. I was looking at the Mazdas. I remember you recommending some of the Mazda models, and I was doing some research, and apparently Mazda collaborated with Ford to make the Ford Escape, and pieces of it, I think, the transmission and the all-wheel drive system. So yeah.
Hope it serves you well. I actually haven't heard much about the newer Escapes or anything, so can be a good thing. I haven't heard bad either, right? So
yeah, pre-2019 there were some engine issues. 2019 was the golden year, and then after 2019 there were other engine issues. So It looks like I got the right year.
Yeah, fair enough. I know newer Ford stuff has been having issues. My boss at JagerWorks has a big Ford, Epic Super Duty. He has an Expedition and stuff, and both of them have just been such pains in the butt. So I hope that rains true and it gives you a lot of life. That's epic for up there, man. You can't rock the sedan up there very comfortably.
Not too much longer.
Oh man. Well, cool.
Yeah.
I'll just jump into Vegas a little bit. So I went to SHOT Show from the 17th through the 24th, which is basically the gun industry's biggest event of the year. All the new stuff happens. Think CES or NAB if you're familiar with guitars, or
big convention.
Yeah, massive. Basically international, just companies from all over the world stealing secrets and doing stuff. It's actually quite funny. This has overlap with all the Chinese companies that I was going to bring up later in the episode, but it's really interesting because you can literally watch Chinese engineers and people from companies having 3D scanner apps on their phones, and they walk around and they'll 3D scan people's optics and parts and stuff like that, and you're like, well, that Okay, that's not super cool, I guess, but
Goodbye,
so,
patent.
yeah, right. They don't care.
Yeah.
The the optics industry is huge, and every high end like small reflex sight or red dot and scope and everything, they're all completely like 1-to-1 cloned
Yeah.
in China, and you can get them for like 1/5 the price. And obviously they're not as good components and they're not built the same, but they look identical,
Right.
which is quite crazy. But it was good.
One question
Yeah.
just got me thinking. A lot of lenses for cameras are made in Asia. Is that the case when it comes to manufacturing accessories for firearms, or are a lot made in the States?
Well,
Or
so
not?
here's an interesting thing and an interesting anecdote. So there's really three places you can get high end glass. So, and that's for optics, and that's Germany, Japan, and there's one company in the United States, and it's in Indiana.
Oh,
And the only reason I know that is because Vortex recently had a contract scope for the British Royal Marines and the SAS, where they basically said, "We want you to make this scope." It was an open contract. Vortex was the one who won it and fulfilled it, but we want you to make this exact thing. I don't care how much it costs. Make this scope. They're releasing a version of that to the public, and everyone's losing their minds because the MSRP is $62.99, and sale price is around $4,000. That's very expensive. That's on the high end, especially for the type of scope that it is, which I won't bore you guys with. But the thing is, it's that it's using Indiana glass. It is one of the only that I can think of truly U.S. made. The body and the erector tube and all the stuff for the scope is made in Wisconsin, in Barnveld, Wisconsin, and then the glass comes from Indiana. And that's like as truly American made as an optic I can think of has been made, especially for the consumer market. I'm sure there's stuff that like I obviously don't know about and don't care about. But there are also, so the Philippines, if you'll see on like Tamron stuff, a lot of Tamron glass is made in the Philippines. So you have kind of China, the Philippines, Japan, Germany, US, and that's kind of like filling out the void. Taiwan has some stuff, but I'm wondering if that's more on the electronic side.
sure.
I don't know the full breadth of like, I reached out to Tamron Philippines when I was in the Philippines for a little bit because I was going to try to find like one of the big stores to go and just talk to them because I thought it'd be neat. But it's the same with scopes. You'll see a lot of like the mid-tier Vortex scopes are made in the Philippines. The lower end ones are made in China. I have gotten a catalog from one of the Chinese companies that make optics. I think I've talked about it on the show actually. But the interesting thing that people, I think the general American idea of made in China is like it's just all cheap and garbage. But these catalogs, they'll say, "Hey, this is all the stuff we can make," and it's a huge catalogs, so, like a bunch of different materials and sources for the aluminum bodies, a bunch of different sources for the glass. You can make the cheapest, worst, or like as expensive as it can get best from some of these like companies that are just like cloning stuff and copying stuff. It's
Yeah.
just if you spend the money, you can make a copy that's going to be just as good, which is just wild. It proves that their like engineering and stuff is just as high quality as anywhere else. It's just this like idea that Temu and like all the really cheap knockoff stuff flooded the industry because they can sell tons of it. It's a volume thing, right? But you can get really, really high quality stuff from there. And,
Sure.
right now, as far as like the military is concerned, like most of the best thermal capability is coming from China. It's not coming from us. They're like pushing the envelope every month, it feels like, and we're still running like $30,000 prohibitively expensive processes to make like thermal scopes.
Sure.
So,
Considering there are no major camera manufacturers in the States anyway, I don't see optics for cameras coming to the States anytime soon. But it's interesting to hear the other side of that.
yeah, and again, because even if the manufacturing started to happen here, they would be using that lower end glass and
Sure.
and things like that. That would not be American made. So which is kind of like what Vortex does because they have a lot of different manufacturing processes. You can't really pin down exactly this scope is made like this, but
Sure.
but they'll do prototyping and stuff, and they'll have glass from China or the Philippines or the Japanese glass, and they'll be assembling stuff in the U.S. So
Okay.
uh, not impossible, but it'd still be a matter of like we aren't gonna see unless you want like phase one prices. You're not gonna see like made in America
Right.
cameras and glass.
And that's what I would expect. So I understand if the answer is no, but did you take a camera on the trip?
Yeah. So I took both my cameras. I got content.
Yeah.
But basically what ended up happening, we had a really cool range day. We kick off the week by setting up a range day, and we got to shoot out to 1,000 yards. So we got to have a bunch of people come through, media, just normal attendees and stuff come through, and I was taking photos and we were like getting stuff, but it ended up being a lot of like talking to media. I was on a spotting scope a lot, calling people in. Throughout the week, I was taking like tons of meetings and stuff. So I was doing a lot more actual marketing than I was doing content creation and social media, which was surprising. I thought that I'd just be like shooting nonstop, but I didn't. And it was super productive, and we made some sales and we made some good connections. But
Nice.
um, I was kind of excited because there at our Airbnb there was like a handful of birds in the morning, and I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to find some time to like walk around or something. I was spent every single day.
Yeah.
I was fortunate that we didn't stay on the strip in Vegas. We stayed at a pretty swanky Airbnb, so we could go back and decompress and relax or whatever. But
It
after,
must have been a lot because I didn't hear from you for like 3 weeks straight.
yeah, dude. I mean, the lead up was brutal. The actual trip was brutal. I think like um, we would pretty much wake up. We'd be over there right in the morning. We wouldn't leave the strip until like 5:30. We'd get food and then we'd like come back. Or a lot of the time we made dinners. I think we ate out like 2 or 3 times, but the rest we were just eating food and we grocery shopped, and it was brutal. It was a lot of fun. We did a lot. I set up a lot of opportunities to do content and shoot and collaborate with people this year, which I think was more valuable than just trying to shoot content, especially with similar to like CES and stuff. Our pages aren't big enough to cut through the content, like, so with everybody making SHOT Show content, it was almost more worth it to just like put up updates about our new stuff and start, do like the minimum, I'd say, on the social side, and then just work on the back end marketing stuff to try to set up to make really good content and break through this year, because the new company that I'm working with is relatively green as far as content and everything goes. So
Sure.
it'll be pretty wild. But yeah, that was it. I took a couple of photos of birds. I was kind of bummed out because there was, I didn't even realize. I was like, oh yeah, there's just like dark-eyed juncos and like Eurasian collared doves outside. And then Elle tells me that the dark-eyed juncos are like pink-sided or something, and they're different than the ones that we have. And I never got a good photo of one, so wasted opportunity there. But
Oh well.
yeah, I was hoping to see like a condor or something, but out at the range, like out in the desert, I didn't see anything besides crows.
Yeah.
So no birding, but I tried. And then normally, if we'd stick around, I'd try to take some photos of just like, like street photography in Vegas, because it's pretty trippy. It's like wild. But we almost didn't spend any time on the strip. So
Yeah.
other than like trying to relax in the Airbnb, that was pretty much it. It's pretty
Well,
wild.
I can only even begin to imagine the logistics and the effort and energy it takes. Just the logistics of moving all of your equipment in your industry across state lines into this convention. And I don't know if you had to ship or fly with any of that stuff, but it's got to be a nightmare to even get there.
Yeah, it can be pretty brutal. So it's really expensive, but we actually send 2 crates to the booth and 2 crates to the range day, so they don't have to move. And then like we unbox everything, we have everything we need at the range, and then we box it all up and ship it back. And then at the booth, because that was the first 2 days, and then from Tuesday to Friday, we're in booths all day. So like I've done 1 or 2 day conventions. 3 days starts to get tiring. The 4th day, you're like, why am I here?
Yeah.
But we were productive up until the end, which is crazy. But yeah, so we shipped those out. That's insanely expensive. We had like these big metal rigid brand like locking containers. We had like 2 prohibitively sizable rifle cases that hold like 4 rifles, and we did fly with those.
Wow.
So, and then I think we only had to fly. Me and Chris only had to fly back with one because one of the owners took the other one. Um, but yeah, so it's a lot, but
Yeah.
honestly, it's not that bad.
Hmm.
Um, just expensive. If I didn't have to pay for it, so it's not like it was super brutal. But obviously, you're dealing with oversized, overweight carry-ons or check bags.
Hmm.
But as far as it kind of varies from state to state. But traveling with firearms isn't so bad if the TSA knows what they're doing. Sometimes the TSA has no idea what they're doing, and
Yeah.
places like Connecticut and stuff I've flown out of, and it's like, oh my god, this is a nightmare. But
Yeah.
the guy in Detroit was super nice. The people in Vegas are primed for it because they knew SHOT Show was the thing, and they're like, hey, just
Sure.
so you guys know, this is going to be regular for the next 2 weeks.
That's good when they have when they're prepared like that.
Yeah, I mean, for instance, like a 10 by 10 booth upstairs, and there's like a huge downstairs area. There's Caesar's Forum, there's the Venetian. It's massive. This thing. I think like a 10 by 10 is like $25,000.
Wow.
So like we're talking anywhere from like one company will spend anywhere from 50 grand to up to I've heard as high as 3 million just on the booth.
Wow.
So the amount of money that comes into Vegas just for SHOT Show is like insane. It's got to be hundreds of millions of dollars for sure.
Yeah, that is
Um,
wild.
yeah,
Wow.
it's crazy. Again, it's super international. It's super huge. Um, but yeah, all usually good things. All my media content creation buddies are there. The people that I talk to all year round. It's most of the time. This is the only time I get to see them in person, which is cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was good. Not a lot of shooting, but a lot of shooting, but not a lot of content shooting.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, um,
Sure, you're glad to be done with it.
yeah, for sure. And then coming back to negative 15 degrees and like super cold is brutal. Like
I was gonna ask you if everything back at your place was still functioning correctly.
fortunately, yeah, even the Riata started right up when I got back, which is
Nice.
crazy.
Yeah.
I just replaced the battery last fall, so it's not that
That
bad.
helps.
But
Yeah.
yeah, just gnarly. We're still gearing up for the wedding and trying to sort that out. So
Yeah.
hopefully we can find some time where it's not freezing cold to get some birding in and just relax. But um,
Yeah.
other
I
than
would say that's a good lead in to my topic if you want
yeah,
to go right to that.
yeah, let's get right into it.
So yes, we did have quite the deep freeze across the state, across the Midwest, across the northern half of the country. Really?
Not even the northern half, the whole country.
Yeah.
I think Florida's the only state that didn't have snow this week.
Oh, I think it's coming. I think I saw there's like
They're,
the west half of Florida's getting some
yeah,
snow this week or
they're
something.
getting it, but
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know where you could be that didn't know about any of this, but here, at least in the UP, we had sustained feels like temperatures in the negative 30s for about a week,
yeah,
and that is really challenging. To be outside is rough, but then, like I was saying, things that should function on a day-to-day basis stop functioning.
right,
My car is in a garage, so it's not even like in the wind chills or anything. And my battery's only 3 years old, but it was having a hard time cranking. It did start every time, but even in my garage, it was like slow to turn. Um, I've had two of my water pipes, my pipes freeze, 3 times. But thankfully, these pipes I've been able to heat back up. So with like a blow dryer, I went through this last season we had a similar cold snap, but it didn't last as long. And so I know exactly where to put the heat gun to warm the pipes back up to get them to flow again. Thankfully, I have not had, knock on wood, man. They've not split, no leaks, no nothing. That's something I definitely have to address pretty soon here because there's got to be some better insulation on those. But when you get down to negative 30s for a week straight, it's just hard to combat that.
yeah,
That being said, what happens here is every few years when we get these sustained cold snaps, Lake Superior freezes by the Ordock, the Ordock that is no longer in use. There's two in Marquette. The northern Ordock is the one by Presque Isle that still has a train that loads and unloads ore. This one here, right downtown, no longer is in use. So it's been decommissioned. And in this area, it doesn't usually freeze, but this year, about 5 or 6 years ago, another 5 or 6 before that, it it froze over. And so Marquette turns into this kind of magical little town, like this Hallmark movie Christmas town, where people come down, and when it's thick enough, like dozens of people will come down and start ice skating, and it's just this kind of it's almost surreal to see people ice skating out in the open, not on a rink, next to this insane feature, the Ordock, because it's huge and it's so industrial. So the juxtaposition of these people skating next to the Ordock is just so interesting. So I went down there after work one day. I think it had been thick enough to skate on for the last couple of days since this point. But I'm really glad I went down there after work because there was still not a bunch of snow on the ice. So I was able to kind of walk around and see areas that are clear enough to look through. But just to see all these people skating around was just so cool. I got down there and was able to get some closer shots. And this couple, this image you're on now, the guy's name in the orange hat, his name was Dimitri. I didn't get his partner's name, but I asked them if I could take some photos because they were playing just a little back and forth hockey with the puck and some hockey sticks. And they were like, yeah, that'd be cool. So I took some photos. I only had the ZF and the 40 millimeter f2, but I swear to you, the 40 millimeter f2 does everything I ever want. There's nothing that lens can't do. But I got down there on the ice with them, took some shots as he was kind of running the puck past me and just doing some circles and stuff. And he's like, I can't do a whole lot, so I'm not going to look that cool. I'm like, I promise it looks cool already. So we just took some shots. I thought it was really, really fun. I did post a bunch of these in Discord. So if you're on the Discord group, go check them out. Some of you have already. If you're not on the Discord group, you should get in the Discord group.
Indeed. You posted some of these today on social, right?
Yeah. I did just post some of these on Instagram as well. So they're out there. In fact, I posted a video about a week ago, a little after this, little after I shot all these, and that kind of blew up. It's almost at like 20,000 views and got shared around, which is
that's
cool.
awesome. Yeah.
But it's like one of these things that rarely happens. So when people get down there and record it and take pictures and stuff, it gets shared around pretty easily. So of course, after I took some photos of the guys all these people skating around, I had to look down and get some details, because when this cold freezes as quickly as it does, air bubbles and things get trapped in that ice, and just the details, the textures, the patterns, all that stuff is so fascinating. So I got a few.
It looks wild. That's sick.
Yeah. It's like a little world in there, and then the two playing hockey was like, hey, come check out this little patch of air bubbles. So I think it's number 12 there. Yeah, that one, they were like, come check this out. You'd probably like some pictures of this. And I'm like, you're absolutely right, I would. So I thought that was really neat as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was just one day. It's been frozen since. It has not gotten even close. Like, we're still in single digit temperatures. So I would imagine on that day the ice was like 5 inches thick. It's probably closer to like 8 or 10 inches thick now or something, because it's just not warmed up at all. I think today was the first day it's supposed to get closer to 20 degrees.
Ooh, balmy.
Degrees below freezing.
Yeah.
Balmy. Yeah. So that's what it is. And even next week it's supposed to get back down closer to single digit temperatures. Oof. And there's no end in sight. But that's just the reality of it up here.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, on top of all the snow, we've got so much snow.
But yeah. These are nice, though. I like the tones of the blues and stuff. It looks really nice.
Yeah, I really didn't try to do too much to them. I just kind of bumped the clarity for the most part, up the saturation just a little bit, kept it cooler, and the contrast. I like these being contrasty and the shadows being pulled down so that the ice is a little bit more dramatic.
Yeah, for sure. Looks great, man.
Yeah.
Looks like a lot of fun, too.
It was fun. I mean, just all these people, for a moment, you kind of forget about the world's problems.
Yeah. Absolutely.
When all of these people who surely have different points of view come down and enjoy one thing.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Cool community stuff. I think some other stuff that I've seen that I'm really excited to see the photos. I don't think he's posted any yet, but all the like over iced like stuff that Miles is doing this week. Have you seen his
Yeah, he's been
stories?
working on a project. Yeah.
Dude, some of that stuff is nuts, like otherworldly nuts.
Oh,
So
maybe I haven't seen everything. I know what he was starting to get into, so maybe he's posted some stuff I haven't checked out yet.
he had some stories of like, I think it was like a lighthouse or something, and it's like it has to be
Yes, 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 yes.
all the ice on that stuff, the ice on the bridges, all that stuff is like brutal up there.
Yeah, there
I've
was
never
like
seen
a
anything like that in
lighthouse with the
person.
ice, and I was like, dude, that thing looks evil.
Yeah,
It looked like a,
it
yeah, it
looks like
looks
a like an old
really evil.
fantasy tower or something. Like
Yeah.
it was in like Dark Crystal or
He's like, I wasn't sure if I should offer something to it.
Yeah, seriously, it looks super epic. I've just seen his stories, so like
Yeah.
he shows like his camera and like where he's at and shooting, and there was a couple of them that looked super gnarly like that.
Yeah, he was planning that trip and sent us a video because there was a news story about that area, and he was worried because the news clip showed like dozens of people climbing all over that area,
Oh yeah,
and he's like, I don't know if I should go here or not because I'm not going to get a shot without people. I'm like, well, you could do like 100 shots and try to blend them out, and I can understand his concern, but it looks like he didn't have a problem.
yeah. I mean, he definitely wasn't doing any editing of those like phone stories.
No.
So, and there was like nobody around when he was shooting. So, I'm excited to see that. Super dope.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He does just excellent work with both landscapes and detail stuff. Like,
Yeah,
I think he and I are a little bit similar. His editing is a little bit different than mine, but we both have the same like love the landscapes and then love to get that tight detail stuff. So I'm excited to see his stuff.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he's grown a ton since I first
Yeah.
started looking at his stuff, and he's just really getting after it, which is admirable.
And I think that's some of the benefit. I mean, to his credit, 100% for sure. But the Finch photographer group that we're a part of
Right,
has been running for a year straight now. We've been meeting every month. We've been going out together multiple times a month.
right.
So we've kind of all kind of grown together, which is I think really cool. We all keep saying that to each other, like, "Oh, I remember the stuff you were shooting a year ago now," and I think we've all gotten better for it.
Yeah, super, super sick.
Yeah.
I'd like to emulate that a little bit down here. Like I've been constantly saying, I just don't know any photographers around here.
Yeah, I had to put boots to the ground a little bit and literally just go find some people.
Yeah,
It was the beginning of it was a little rocky, but we got there.
yeah, for sure. So I have some notes here. I guess just a short topic. I was today years old when I learned that there is a podcast called Get Birding. And the host of the podcast is Sean Effin Bean. It's super dope. It's
You'll have
on.
to enlighten me. I don't know Sean
It's
Bean.
oh, you know Sean Bean. It's Boromir from Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
It's
what?
it's Sean Bean, the guy who dies in every one of his roles.
Okay.
The greatest effing Sean effing Bean.
Okay.
So
That's interesting.
it's sweet. And I guess he's been a birder for a really long time. Like he's
Cool.
super into it, but it seems to be just like a podcast about like getting people involved and outside and looking at birds.
Oh,
I
I
haven't
love that.
I just saw it today, so I followed him on Instagram and followed the stuff. I'll link the website and the YouTube channel in the description below.
Yeah, I'll be finding that. That's cool.
Yeah, and it's shot by like a BBC like camera person. There's like a ornithologist that's working on the project and
Oh,
some
so
other
this is
people.
more serious.
It's like legit. It looks super cool. It's shot beautifully. I only watched like 10 seconds of like the trailer because I don't watch trailers. I was just like, is this like a legit thing? And he's just talking about like songbirds and some other. And I was like, this is awesome. This is going to be super epic. So, definitely look in the bio or the bio the description below on whatever you're listening to this and click through that because if you're into birds, I think it's a mathematic impossibility that it's going to be bad, so it's going to be worth your time. I just hope that his character doesn't have an early grave in this in this one because that'd be brutal. But yeah, so that's super cool. I'm excited about that.
Cool.
Get me a little amped up about birding again because spring is just right around the corner.
Yeah, I guess to that end, how excited are you about kicking it off for 2026? Because up here right now, it's pretty slim pickings, and I'm starting to get that itch. But I don't know. I know for me that I'm taking a different approach to birding this year.
Yeah.
The photography will still be as frequent, but the approach will be a little different. It'll be a little less spray and pray and a little more in depth almost researchy for me.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I talked about it on the last episode, but I'm going to try and do a lot more video stuff this year.
Yes, that's right.
We're starting to get our ducks back on our river, which I'm
Nice.
going to try and get some videos of that when it's not like just super freaking cold. It's been hard to
Yeah.
want to go out there. Like I walked over to take my trash out, which I have to go like across the street and around, and then I went to the gas station, which is a block away. And by the time I was back, my face and ears and eyes and everything hurt. And I was like,
Yeah.
dude, I just like, you know, it's hard to stay out there.
Yeah.
But they're coming back. We saw some mergs. We saw, I think Elle saw some goldeneye. There's been redheads. There's been a handful of things, and it like almost froze over yesterday, but it looks like it's flowing pretty good again. So hopefully this week we'll get some, not super brutal weather, and I can get some. I want to take the tripod down and try to get up under the bridge and get like closer to the actual water line.
Yeah.
And try to sit out there and get some like really cool videos, because some of those ducks and stuff are really cool. I really like redheads. I really like scops and mergs even. So it should be pretty cool. There was like 12 mergansers on our river like together, and I almost never see that many unless you're on a really big lake. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, so we'll see what happens there.
Nice.
The spring's going to be busy leading up to the wedding, but we do have like 2 weeks that we're taking off after the wedding to go out to the mountains and stuff, like I've mentioned before. So I think we're going to do a decent amount of birding and wildlife photography then.
Good.
I got to figure out if I'm like I'm so far behind on Berta that it almost feels like a lost cause at this point, to even like track my birds. I haven't done anything from Texas. I don't even think I have everything from my Mexico trip last year on Berta.
Yeah. That's part of my thing is right at the end of the year, I started to lose a little steam because after fall migration, things just, the sad kicks in and just like, I don't want to deal with it. I got what I got. And I was really happy with the numbers that I got. I think this year I'm going in knowing I'm not going to get the same numbers.
Yeah.
And so I'm a little less incentivized to even use the app this year.
Right.
Just to be honest with you. So I think I'm going to just focus more on the photography aspect. And we'll see where that leads us.
Yeah, for sure. I know Elle's just so damn good at tracking all of her stuff that like that kind of gives us a good idea of like what we found and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she gets like a good little ting from it. It's basically a gotta catch 'em all thing, but I don't have the same like draw. Like my brain isn't like I need to log all these so I know my number.
Right.
I just think I get the dopamine from seeing the new bird and getting a photo or two of it.
With new birds, I'll probably be logging, but like I'm not going to log all the outings anymore.
Right. Yeah. It gets increasingly difficult when you're getting a lot of the same birds again.
Yeah,
you're like, wow, well, I'm on like the 40th time I've seen X and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll see. It's obviously going to be a lot different too if I'm not taking like quick photos that I can take, because I'm not going to like take screenshots just to put them in Berta of like the videos.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think there will be some room to kind of mix it up. I have been thinking, both for my work and for my own photography, like I almost want to try and be better about content, because I think more than ever, I want to see stuff that's not AI slop and meaningless.
Yeah.
So like I can't want to see it and not produce it. So I want to try and, I don't know. I'm still back and forth if it's even worth my time to put a lot of effort into content, but I have been thinking about it a lot lately. Just better video content, like getting into, I can tell a better story in a 30-second video than I can in like a bad caption and 5 photos.
Well, I'll tell you, I would like to see it.
Yeah,
if that helps.
I'm sure people would dig it. I started this whole journey many years ago doing video first, so I like to think that I'm a pretty good video maker, whatever that means. But yeah, so getting into this, I have very vaguely David Len's decision in my notes.
Yeah. There's a couple of things running in my head. There's no There's no complete thought on any of this. So help me out here.
120 to 300 f2.8 Nikon Nikkor.
I can't. I don't even want to talk. Okay, we can briefly just say that Nikon is probably releasing a new 120 to 300 f2.8, as they did a long time ago.
Yeah, there's leaked photos now, I think. So
yeah, but probably going to be in the neighborhood of $7,000 to $10,000. That's not happening.
Well, sell the Ford Escape.
Sell the car I don't even have yet.
Yeah, like sell it for like a 20% profit to some sucker, and then easy stonks.
That won't be easy because I'm buying from a dealer, so there's not much profit after the fact. Anyway, yeah, that's a cool lens, and maybe one day, but today's not the day. I will have an amount of money that could land me somewhere in the neighborhood of a 70 to 200 2.8 brand new.
Okay.
And that's what I'm thinking about. I remember owning a long time ago the Tamron 70 to 200 2.8 on the F mount, and I had a lot of fun with that lens.
Yeah.
It did so much for me, not just in my professional work with weddings, because that is a very, very good lens to have for that kind of thing. But I used it a ton for landscapes, tighter shots of landscapes, like a lot. And so my thinking is, if I want to get back into that world, does it make sense to keep the 28 to 105 for one? I think there is some separation there that does make sense, but am I going to be as incentivized to use the 28 to 105 if I have something like a Nikon 70 to 200 2.8? And just so you know, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's kind of evident that pretty soon there will be a version 2 of the Nikon Z 70 to 200 2.8, and it is possible that the money for that comes out pretty close to the time this announcement could be made in the next few months, I would think. And I'm like, okay, do I hold out, wait and see what this announcement is, and then get it if it looks like I could really use it? Because if not, I have other lenses that I would really like to own. One being Viltrox's 85 millimeter 1.4 Pro, which is only about $600.
Sure.
And a bunch of Voigtlander lenses that can be really fun on the ZF.
Sure.
And so I could either flesh out, like I wanted to last year, like I said, with the ZF, this prime collection of manual focused lenses, or do I spend the big bucks on this brand new 70 to 200 2.8 that is probably going to be amazing?
That's the trick.
That's the trick. Yeah.
I'm uniquely positioned to talk about this exact endeavor, having had the 28 to 105 and realizing that every time I put a 70 to 200 on my camera, it's the best experience of making images that I can imagine. I've actually been pulling it out more for some of my content for work, just because it looks so damn good.
Talk to me.
I think with two bodies, it can make sense to keep the 28 to 105. However, because you're like, okay, this has all of the wide range. You currently don't have a 24 to 70, so it's not like there's another analog for that. It just happens to be that plus a little extra range, which encroaches on some of the 70 to 200. But I would venture to guess, especially with your Z8, you're going to see a huge improvement in performance on a 70 to 200 that you're just not going to get from anything else that you own.
I think you're right.
Even the 500, I think it's going to be like, if you're in the range where you want to be around 70 to 200, it's going to just be the snappiest, fastest, like most high-end lens. The people who have the 24 to 70 version 2 Z mount have said that it's really good.
Yeah.
So I have to imagine.
I have no doubt about that.
Yeah, I have to imagine the 70 to 200 is going to be very good. I mean, when I flesh out a camera system, the first lens I get is the 70 to 200. So incredibly biased. I think it's super versatile. I too think.
I knew that going in.
Yeah. I think I've always, since running the Canon 70 to 200, which is still one of my favorite lenses of all time for video, I still think that's some of the best early landscape I ever made. When I learned that I actually don't love like 16 to 35 for landscape stuff. Like I like tighter, compressed landscape images. I think they look amazing. I live around that 135 to 200 mil mark, especially when it comes to mountains and when you're out in long ranges and like the desert or the mountains or stuff like that, where you have cool like Sugarloaf, things like that. A lot of my photos when I've been up in Marquette have been, with a 70 to 200, um,
Yeah.
or the
With
135 prime, because I took a ton with the 135 prime up there.
That was my next thought, because I could also get the 135 Plena that Nikon offers.
Yeah.
But in your experience, you had the 135
Yeah.
and now own the 70 to 200. So I'm going to guess that you valued that more.
It's hard to say. The Sony 135 is one of the most remarkable lenses I've ever owned.
Sure.
Remember my very first 200 to 600, I traded the 135 for it.
Yeah.
And so that was a priority to me. However, the big con to the Sony is that it was a huge piece of glass with a plastic front thread, and
right,
that would crack. Mine cracked. I had to get it repaired from Sony.
Yeah.
And once that kind of happens, it's really hard to feel secure, when you're throwing all these, this big heavy lens in your bag all the time. And I'm not like kind to my stuff. I take care of it. I try to not bump it around too bad, but like I run my stuff. I throw it all in a bag and I'll hike with it and I'll take it on planes and I'll do that. Like it was kind of scary. Now, the alternative is to try something like, what is it, the Viltrox Lab 135,
That's definitely in the back of my head.
and then get some of the Voigtlander stuff, because you could probably get one really solid Voigtlander and the 135 Lab and be mostly happy.
Yeah, that mostly happy space is where I'm concerned. Am I going to end up owning all of these different lenses and going, damn, I wish I got the 70 to 200?
That was me every time, which is why that's what I sold my G1, or my GM1 70 to 200 to buy and I'm pretty sure I don't know if I even had the discount yet. I think I might have paid full price for it. And if not, it was when it was new. So even with the discount, it was still almost $2,500.
Yeah.
Like best case scenario. I sold the version 1 at a loss and got that and regret nothing, because it's been that good. They're generally the highest performing lenses on any system.
Yeah.
And it's just a freaking true workhorse. Like, you're talking from 70 to 200, the whole range generally is super good for portraits, which you do plenty of. It's very good for details. Yep. I don't know what the Nikon like minimum focusing distance is, but on the Sony it's like less than 3 meters. So it's like sick. Like it's
pretty close for the Sigma as well, the 28 to 105.
Yeah.
And I use that a lot for that stuff.
Right. So like being able to stay, I'm just in my room with light coming through the window, taking photos of like firearms and getting these really tight images. And not macro, but like tight stuff close up. So you're definitely gonna have to think about it. I think your kit currently, I think you'd get a lot of use out of it.
I think so too.
But it would be a matter of like, is it worth keeping the 28 to 105 around, or is it worth getting like a cheaper, smaller everyday zoom?
Yeah.
Because like that's the thing. I'm using it right now to film this, is the Sigma 28 to 70 2.8. I end up using it a ton just because it's so small and so versatile.
Yeah.
That like I shot a lot of the stuff out at Vegas with it for work. I shoot daily stuff with it because I care a little less sometimes about what I'm shooting for work. It just needs to be like decent.
Mm-hmm.
But it's between that and my 51.4 a lot of the time.
Sure. Yeah.
So, and those kind of are interchangeable for the most part, because I don't always need 1.4 for like a product photo. You don't want it to fall out of focus so fast and
correct. Yep.
And things like that. So I would look at it for sure. I think it's always wise to wait out and see what happens with the new model.
Yeah. We know it's close.
Yeah, and it gives you a little bit of time.
24, I think 2.8S got discounted recently by like $600. So that version is probably going to get announced pretty soon here, the new version of that.
Sure.
And I think the 70 to 200 will be pretty close after that. Hopefully not too long.
Yeah.
It'd be great if they were pretty close together.
Yeah.
But that's not discounted yet, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I love a 70 to 200. I think it's so good. I
The
support
other
it.
option I have is grabbing the first version and then also getting some primes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the first version's great. Like I'm
Yeah.
sure it runs. I haven't seen a lot about it because I haven't looked at the Nikon system a ton, other than just seeing that it was expensive new when I was thinking potentially about getting the Z6 III.
Yeah, I think
But
like $2,800 or so.
yeah, it's obviously expensive. I bet you can find them well under two used.
Yeah, I was looking right around $1,800.
Yeah, which is a great deal for that. I would just be curious. I know the thing that I didn't like about the original Nikon 70-200 was that it was like a 70-180. The long end of it was short. I think Jared Polin actually has a video comparing it to the
Oh.
Canon and the Sony.
Yeah,
And
this has been an issue in the past as well on DSLRs.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
I don't know about the first version of the Z mount.
Gotcha,
I was
gotcha.
talking about the latest version of the F mount.
I don't think that was the case.
Yeah. But then also, don't they have the Tamron one? Don't they have the is it the 70 to
There is a
180?
70 to 180, yeah.
Right.
I don't know if that's Tamron or if that might be first party.
It's made by Tamron for Nikon.
Regardless, it's made by Tamron.
Yeah. It's a Nikon lens. It's a Nikon lens for sure.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And I think they actually have the Tamron version as well.
That is an option, but there's a little bug in the back of my head going.
It's not going to be the same.
If you got the money, just wait and see,
Yeah.
and you'll probably really love it. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be patient on this one, and see what the value is like.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, I mean, hopefully with any kind of residual tariff things like that, it just needs to stay under $3,000. Like it'd be really bad to even see it.
If it was over $3,000, I have other options. I think I'll go to.
Yeah, if it's $30.99, it's like, just get a version 1 used, and like you'll be 95% happy or better.
And that's my comfort zone. And I'm like, this is an opportunity for me to step out of the comfort zone and grab something that, for the past how many years I've been shooting, since 2012, I've never been that person to grab the newest, most expensive version of a lens. And this is an opportunity where I could do it and not feel bad, because I have all of my other priorities in line. And
yeah, it's awesome.
So we'll see.
Yeah, heck yeah. So I mean, with that, I'm not going to get too much into it because I think Petapixel's covering it pretty well. But I think the Nikon suing Viltrox thing is pretty interesting.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I thought we could touch on as well.
Just the TLDR is that it looks like Viltrox was doing Z-mount stuff without properly licensing it for a couple of years or whatever. Nikon's looking for damages and royalties or whatever.
Right.
But it sounds like they're committed to doing it correctly, more or less. I think some information just came out, and they're not denying that the suit is happening and things like that.
Right.
But one of the things that I thought was most interesting listening to the Petapixel guys talk about was this kind of hurts the Nikon being the good guy, and we let people use our stuff, and we have all these lens options, we're
I didn't quite agree with that.
Yeah. I think they just have a little too much disdain for how Canon is so closed off, because I still personally think this falls right in line with what Nikon's. I mean, they sued Red, or counter-sued Red or whatever, and then they're like, "We'll just buy you. We're not going to deal." So they're an old company. They're old money Japan. I don't think they really care, and they're going to get theirs where they're going to get it.
I think it's important to remember that any company that of basically any size that has IP to protect, they are beholden to some folks to protect that IP.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
When you have a company who is going to want to license lenses on your mount, they have to go through a process. And if they were making these lenses and patents were pending, that's one thing. And it sounds like there are royalties owed. And that's kind of just the gist of it.
Yeah.
So I'm not exactly sure where the break in communication is between the two, but it sounds like that's what it is.
Yeah.
And it sounds to me like Viltrox is totally going to try to fix this, which is good.
Yeah. I just, as a kind of an anti-drama note, I just wanted to say this is perfectly acceptable in the world of corporate
Yes.
IP and
Yes.
litigation and things like that. Like it's just if something has to happen, this is the way that you take care of it. So you make sure that it's done correctly. Business is always business. You need
Yes.
contracts. You need whatever.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, if they didn't, if there was something wrong here, it would be irresponsible for Nikon not to try to pursue something to correct it, right? Because then it would be unfair to all the other people who do license the third
right.
party. Because if Viltrox is getting away with some things and Nikon's like, they're fine, then where's the structure, you know?
Right. Yeah, I agree. I don't like when people anthropomorphize a
Right.
company so much that they're
Mhm.
like good guy, bad guy, this guy, that guy, because it's just not how it is. It's a lot of people that work for a company that's supposed to make money for whoever invests in them, whether it be private or public. It doesn't matter. You're
Yeah.
always going to have to one, do business, which is going to be the proper avenues contractually for anything that's happening between companies. And to want drama where drama doesn't exist is unnecessary. It seems like Viltrox is going to play ball and they're going to sort it out, and that's good because they're probably like, I think it might have been Chris Nichols actually who said they're kind of in line to be the Sigma of China,
That's
where
yeah.
like their stuff is like good and it's fine that it's Chinese. Like it doesn't matter. Like
Like
they make
they
good
have
stuff.
Yeah, they have different lines fleshed out for different tiers of pricing, and the lab and pro stuff feels professional.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy what they're pushing out at different value points to make it like what Sigma had done, making their lenses feel first party.
Yeah. Well,
It
it's like I
seems to
was
me,
talking about with the optics, right? Like
yeah,
the engineering capability of made in China is so much more than
exactly.
the general American viewpoint.
Yep, yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't have any expectation that Viltrox will have any kind of hindrance when it comes to keeping production going. They said so we'll see.
They said basically the TLDR is that they don't plan to change their product roadmap.
Yeah.
Which is good for the consumer because frankly the Z mount needs as many supporting lenses as it can to kind of play ball because they still, again, they didn't make money off the Z5 II. That was not a product that was making
Correct.
Nikon money. Things like that. They need people to invest in glass to keep buying cameras.
Mhm.
So if they don't do that, if there's people that are, how I would have done it, playing with their Sony lenses on Nikon, which I know a lot of content creators are, that's not longevity for Nikon.
Right.
They need
Yeah.
people invested. The second avenue to this that I was going to go down was Case, Songra, Brighton Star, Viltrox, new Yongnuos. The amount of Chinese glass coming out like every single day is wild. It's getting way, way better. I think they're probably starting to realize how easy it is to take like older lens designs from the DSLR stuff and make it mirrorless, and some of it's like full-on new designed mirrorless stuff.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting to see that happen. I hope that means that we'll see a push in kind of the more weird soon from the first parties because I loved the idea of the 28-105. I think it's one of the coolest lenses that have come out in the last, decade. And it's going to take people, like Sure, like the people that are Blazar, like these companies that are like bringing out cool, very different stuff that are like making people buy cameras. Like people will buy Blazar lenses. Well, they'll buy Lumix cameras to run proper anamorphic on these like way cheaper anamorphic bodies. Like that's going to push first party camera companies to do a little bit more features for anamorphic. It's going to push them to consider potentially doing their own in the future.
Even the not weird stuff. You have Sure and Case and Viltrox putting out 1.4 prime lenses that perform really well. And it pushes the value to insane levels if you grab something like a Z5 II.
Right, for sure. I haven't seen anybody actually run the Songra stuff, but Songra is a company coming out with a bunch of 1.2 autofocus lenses, I think. Like they're
saying a brand I haven't even heard of yet.
Yeah, so like we'll see if they're any good, but they're still making autofocus 1.2. So like there's been a ton of 1.2 lenses that are manual focus for, decades, but we'll see. It's cool. Just as a reminder that like until we get our head out of our bum, it's going to be really hard to compete with Chinese companies who are very hungry. and want to, make a lot of wild stuff happen. So
Yeah, yeah. Hey, what'd you think of that monochrome GR4?
I don't care.
I didn't think you did.
No, I think monochrome is cool for people that like to shoot black and white. I think the like DR benefits and stuff are there. I'm just not that user. I guess I'm kind of in the last year and a half. I've gotten to the point where I'm done pretending to be.
Yeah.
Like I think we might have talked a little bit about like the Fujifilm stuff, and like I flirted with it for so long, and I like the idea of it. I like the I need a camera that performs like all my cameras perform, and if I'm going to have a pocketable camera, it has to be like the A7CR or something. Like it has to, like if if I have a camera with me, I want it to do the same stuff that all my cameras do.
Right.
Otherwise, it does just feel like a toy. It's a little bit of a hassle, and it actually doesn't make my experience better.
Yeah, I've been considering grabbing the ZFC, like a refurb sale ZFC, and just getting one of the other smaller lenses to have something more pocketable like that. And pocketable is kind of different for everybody.
Right.
The ZF and the 40 is about as pocketable as a camera as I've ever owned, and it goes with me in a lot of places. So I don't know about that, but I thought it was very interesting to push that price way up, just like $2,200, $700 more than the older or the color version. It makes sense based on the scales of economy, but we'll see. I think they're probably going to sell them because the alternative is a Leica, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, they're playing in a niche ballpark, and I don't know that. As far as I can kind of tell, I guess I don't know enough about their stuff. I don't think they have like the manufacturing capacity to like, they're not making cameras more than Fuji, and Fuji can't keep stuff in stock. So like, I can't imagine they're printing millions and millions of GR3s and 4s. So they are what they are, and I'm sure they have. I haven't looked at their company structure, but I imagine they're a part of a much larger conglomerate of companies that are doing a bunch of different things, and it's just a drop in the bucket for kind of what they're into, which some people forget about sometimes. Like, companies are weird, especially Asian companies.
Speaking of weird, Fuji's new cinema camera, that little pocket holder, like vertical.
Yeah,
thing.
I haven't the Instax one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to look at it. I haven't actually watched the videos of it or anything, but it looked super fun. I think
it is interesting. It looks like a really cool party camera.
Yeah, which I'm all about. I've been using my 7CR as a party camera quite a bit, and I think it's fun. I'll be looking at that because I think if it does what I think it does, I think it could be cool for the wedding.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, so definitely looks cool. I think more stuff like that is huge. I think having like well under $1,000 like interesting cameras, that's fun. I'm okay with the toys for toy space.
Yeah.
Where like this is not even supposed to be, but once you start breaking $1,000, it's like this is not a toy anymore. This is a very expensive toy.
Right. When the expenses come in the form of big, beautiful sensors and high performance autofocus systems, cut those things out, give it cheaper versions of those, but just make the experience fun. Right. And you're in a good spot. And I think that's what they did with that camera.
Right. Which is sweet. Like I'm all for that. I was looking at that or just doing some kind of instant. I know I'm gonna grab a handful of like disposable film cameras, and our wedding photographer is gonna shoot a little bit of film, which is cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think something like that would be cool because I'm gonna pass a bunch of stuff around. I'm gonna give a couple friends my digital camera, and we'll have some other stuff, and should be kind of fun.
I've shot a load of weddings where the bride and groom had Instax cameras set out on a table, and so everyone would just come back with their pictures and set them back on the table, and that's pretty great. And in the same vein, I shot a lot of my weddings with my SX70 on my side. So if I was at a moment where I was like, "Oh, this is a good keeper," I hit that shot, and I would give a full pack of SX70 prints right then and there at the end of the night, which they loved every time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just cool, man. It's tangible. It's like a thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So definitely a vibe. I mean, we already talked briefly about the 120 to 300. There's not a whole lot of gear stuff I've been following lately. I know that I'm still considering moving along my A7CR. For no other reason than I'm just worried about how much I use it, and the longevity of the shutter on the A7CR is not up to snuff. So I'd be really like bummed out to like really run that camera into the ground. So I think it's time for me to just refresh it for something else. I have somebody interested local who's pretty serious, and it'll give me a good price on it. So,
Okay.
but
Trying to move into something before spring migration.
I don't. Well, no, because I have my A9 III, so I can do everything I need with the A9 III. I'm between just seeing if I can get away using the A7 IV and my A9 III for a while. I'd like to move that money into the 28 to 70 f2.
Yeah, you said that.
I think that's probably the best move for my dollar right now. And then I can decide if the A7 V makes sense or if they end up with another camera. Because for all I know, we're going to get, maybe an A7R5 or A7R6 with like a partially stacked. That's huge. And that would be...
I could see that coming this year.
I don't know that it's gonna, but like right now I don't really need for anything. And I think it's probably just a safer bet to invest in more glass that I want. And
do you think that's the future of all of these enthusiast cameras is partially stacked?
I think partially stacked or stacked. I mean, that's the only way. We found the limit for a standard CMOS BSI sensor to get the speed, and everybody knows that 61 megapixel is kind of a dog if you're an electronic shutter, and by kind of a dog I mean it's basically useless in an electronic shutter. I mean the 33 megapixel A7 IV is brutal in electronic shutter, so
it solves issues without pushing prices beyond people's comfort zones.
Yeah, and like look at how old the Z9 and Z8 is now. I say old. There's not a feature you would want on it other than, raw pre-capture or something, but like
timeline-wise, they're just about ready for refreshes though.
Right, but like they still stack up to the cameras that just came out. Like the Z8 is still better than the A7 IV or A7 V. Right. Like I wouldn't.
And in a lot of ways, I'd still be so happy running a D850.
Yeah, for sure. So it's just like whatever you're using, whatever you're doing. So I think I can probably tame my gas a little bit for a while. The A7 V isn't going anywhere, and it's not going to give me anything of note over the cameras that I have because I have an A9 III. That it's not going to blow me away. It'll just be more useful than my A7 IV, which is still plenty good for a hybrid camera for what I need for work.
Yep.
So I'm thinking I just invest in more glass. We'll see what happens with Sony. Or maybe we'll get a fully stacked Lumix sensor and I'll finally go back to Lumix, but I doubt it. I think the move is probably just to get that lens. I think I could probably get away with one prime and my two zooms and then my Sony bodies and just be living the dream. I stopped using the 40. I sold the 40 mil f2.5.
Oh, you did?
I did. Because the package wasn't small enough for the downside of the 42.5.
Yeah.
My 51.4 is so much better, and Sony primes are so small.
Yeah.
That it was maybe double the size, but it didn't change.
That 1.4.
Well, and I still couldn't put it in my pocket, depending on the lens.
Sure.
It still would have to be slung over me.
Yeah.
Or put in my sling bag. So it's not like the idea was so true. And I took some photos on that lens. It was great, especially especially if I was at 3.5 or f4, f5, 6, f8. It was awesome.
Felt well built.
But even the difference, and I've tested this with the 2.8 and with some other lenses, the difference between f2.5 and f2 is enough that I understand why, and the size of your 40 mil f2, I understand why that's so valuable.
It's almost impossible, just how small it is that it gets to f2.
Right.
And the clarity of the lens, it punches above its weight.
Yeah. Well, and the issue is that I liked the aperture ring, and the aperture ring was why my lens was so big.
I remember, yeah.
So it was what it was. I was using the 50 anyway, so I just got rid of it, which means realistically I should probably get the 35 because the 50 is often too long for compact stuff.
Yeah.
But again, this is just the way that I work. I think I'd be better served to have. I don't think I'd sell the 50 though. It's too useful to have all of them. So, like I said, invest in glass because it's not going anywhere. I'll use them for the next 2 decades.
Yeah.
And then just keep making stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think L wants for anything. I'd love to see the new long lens that Sony is allegedly coming out with.
Oh, I don't know if I know anything about this.
They've been talking about it for a while, 100 to 400s.
Oh yeah.
So if they're just going to refresh the original, I think there's a good shot I pick one up.
It's a G lens, right?
I don't know if it's a G or a GM because the original one's a GM.
Oh, I thought it was a G lens.
No, so the original 100 to 400 is, and it's really good. It's actually a super good lens. It's super sharp. I have a buddy that did work on it for like 2.5 years, and like it was all he put on his camera for like a multitude of things. But the benefit to it, the major benefit to why I would go to it is that it allows us to use the teleconverter. So if Elle's running the 100 to 400 on a crop body. She's getting 200 to 600 essentially. It's running really well. She doesn't generally want for anything that's compact. However, if we were out doing something out west or anything and you really are set up, maybe we're on tripods watching moose or wolves or whatever the heck, the ability to throw a 2x on that, but then still have our overall package be we brought 2 lenses and 1 teleconverter.
Yeah.
That's huge compared to now we need 3 lenses and a teleconverter because we want 2 long lenses, a teleconverter, and her 100 to 400.
Yeah, a 100 to 400 is often the lens that landscape photographers love after the 24 to 70.
Yeah,
like a lot of them will skip a 70 to 200
right.
and just run those two because you get a nice difference perspective.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's 400 can be really wild, especially if you're doing like out west landscapes where where it's just so broad. Because you're like, okay, well, I want this moose, I want this, that, the other thing, whatever. It'll be interesting. Like the camera's still great. The files, it's actually remarkable sometimes. What if she and I are shooting the same bird, and I'm on like an A9 III and a 200 to 600, and then she gets just for whatever reason her angle, her autofocus hit perfect or whatever, my photo would be super soft and hers is like tack sharp, and I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's actually crazy that you couldn't even buy like half of my camera for that whole kit, and sometimes it just hits super hard. So I don't know if that's a factor of the we're full frame APS-C factions, a factor of like the lens characteristics itself or the sensor characteristics itself, right. But there's some magic there. But yeah, I think there'd be a benefit. I don't know that she'd be willing to go straight up to one of the bigger lenses.
Right.
As much as I'd like to have a 400 to 800, I think if I were to do that, one of the big lenses would probably stay home often or be in the car.
Right.
So I just don't think it's valuable to go to the 200 to 600 and the 400 to 800. I think probably, because then you get, what would that be, 200 to 800 with a 2x teleconverter? Yeah. So we could get there, and it would be, I think, adequate.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, it's been no gas, which has been good. I haven't been stressing too bad.
Good. Well, keep it up.
Yeah. We can mostly wrap it up now. It's been a good show. I think if you haven't already, reach out to us. Follow us on these 2 Instagram accounts. We have some cool news coming. We are still actively sharing. I've been out of the Discord. I've been totally MIA the last 3 weeks. But
that's all right. We're holding the fort down.
Yeah, they're doing great. I'm reading what people are talking about, so I jump in there. But we'll get back to some photography once it's not -40.
Yeah.
And we have a cool thing that's going to come out. Hopefully next week the video will be up. But without getting too far into the story that's going to be told in the video, we're working with the glove company Vallerret to potentially give one of you guys a pair of these gloves.
Yeah.
So I'll leave the primary story to how this happened to the video or whatever, but I think they're right here somewhere. I've been running these for a while now. These are the tendons from them.
Yep.
And it's been helpful because it's so freaking cold right now. I'm new to the company. I wasn't super familiar with them. David has been using them for a long time, which you'll learn in the video. But we'll have some info on how you could potentially get a pair for yourself. We'll be giving away their Markov Pro V3s. It's like their kind of magnum opus, or their like hero glove that started it all, I guess, is what I've gathered. So it's really good. It's all-rounder. It's balanced between warmth and dexterity. The tendons are kind of like a deeper, super cold glove. But
I believe we have the option to give away the Tindons if they're in stock.
okay. Well, then I guess we're gonna see. I still think the Markovs might be the move because I think they'd be the best
I think
all
so,
around.
too. Yeah.
The Tindons are thick boy gloves. They're serious, but they are warm. I was in the cold. I have some B-roll. You'll see some of it, and I'll talk about it. But just absolutely frigid. My hands were hot. So they do their job, but that'll be cool. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, check below in the description. If you're an audio listener, I would suppose there would be some link to the YouTube channel, because if you're on YouTube now, just wait, because it'll drop in the next week or so.
Yep.
But if you're an audio listener, please go ahead, check out the YouTube channel, because that'll be a way for you to know how you could win a pair of these gloves.
Yeah. And obviously follow at light.overtime on Instagram, Bartos _David Sargent. That's a good way to follow along and make sure you don't miss anything. But this is the start of probably many other cool things that we're going to do for the community. This whole thing, again, if you haven't been here or you haven't been here for a while, we started this podcast because David and I were going to have these conversations anyway. That very quickly led to wanting to build any kind of community, which he has very successfully done up north, and we've been pretty successful in our little Discord. Small but mighty, I'd say.
Yeah.
So, come hang out with us. We like making images, and we like talking about it. So,
yes.
Other than that, that's all I got for you today.
That is all I have.
Sounds good. Stay warm out there. If you ever want to chat, or you can listen to me talk about freaking gear all day long. So if you're trying to buy something, reach out to us. We're always down to help with our experiences with all the glass and all the stuff. And between David and I, we have about all the experience most users would need to try to make a good, honest decision. And if not, watch Petapixel, because I watch their show every week as well, and I love those guys.
And if you feel like you could help me out in my lens buying decision, put it down below, or you can send us a message, because I'm going to be running these thoughts in my head for like 3 months straight, and it's gonna drive me crazy. So if you want to help me out there,
I'd like to see what your guys' takes are on that topic in the comments, so we can hash it out a little bit. Are you a 70 to 200 Stan, or are you a prime boy who's going to tell him to not waste his time with a silly professional zoom? Because real professionals use primes. Real photographers shoot primes.
Well, I run the 16, a 21 now, a 50, a 40. I'm only really missing the 85, so I run plenty of primes, but I have valued zooms in the past, so I need help.
Or the 135.
Or the 135.
We're just going to keep spinning his wheels until
Now I'm going to go back and watch the 135 reviews, the Planet reviews, and see if there's a plastic element on the front.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the element's so heavy, man. Anyway, thanks for listening. We'll catch you in the next one.
Thanks, guys. See ya.